Hello, good morning everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So let's start today's session. Prior to going for the new concept today, let us recall back what we have learned about relational model in the last session, or rather in the last week. So we have gone through few important terminologies, right, related to the relational model. So we have gone through the concept of database schema. So database schema is the logical design of the database. Database instance, it is snapshot of the data in the database at a given instance of time. A to AN are the attributes of a relation. So we have seen two important concepts, and those are relational schema and a relation. So what is relation schema and how to denote a relation schema? As we know, the database is collection of various relations, and these relations are defined over some relation schema. So in relational database model, this capital R denotes a relation schema, and this capital R comprises of the attributes A1, A2 up to AN. So these attributes are actually describing a relation schema. And what is the relation then? A relation is denoted with this small r notation. So relation on relation schema R. We read this a relation small r on the relation schema capital R. So capital R denotes the relation schema describing the attributes in that schema. So for example, if we are having department schema, we are denoting this department schema like the list of attributes or the set of attributes. So department schema comprises of three attributes: department name, building and budget, right? And on this relation schema, we are having a relation, that is department, right? So we write that department is a relation on the relation schema department schema. Department is a relation on this department schema, right? So this is how we write the notations for relation schema and a relation on relation schema. Also, we have seen the example of relation instance. So similar to the database instance, we are having a relation instance. So we mentioned that database instance is a snapshot of entire database at particular point of time. Similarly, the relation instance is a snapshot of a particular relation at a particular instance of time. So whatever are the current values for different attributes, those are stored presently in a relation that will give me the current instance for the relation. Okay. A row in a relation is known as a tuple, right? the row in a relation. So this is my relation. Okay. Once again, please note that table and relation are equivalent terms in relational model. So in relational model, we are saying there is a tuple, sorry, there is a table or there is a relation. So this is a department relation, and this particular data at this instance of time that is stored in this department relation is the instance of this relation department. This relation department is described with 3 attributes. Those relation, and the rows in the relation are known as the tuples, right? So I hope now once again you have recalled back the terminologies those we are using while discussing the contents of this relational model. Okay, now today's contents. Today, we are going to focus upon keys in relational model. In fact, we had a little discussion about the keys whenever we discussed ER model, entity relation model. Okay, but now the similar kinds of terms or kinds of keys we are making use of in relational model. So let's go through those important concepts. So what are the keys and what are the types of keys in relational model? Whenever we are describing any relation in relational model, or whenever we are describing any table in relational model, we are storing many different tuples in the relation. And one tuple is describing some related information about one thing or one object or one entity, whatever it may be. Okay, now we should have some way to distinguish two tuples. Those are stored in my relation. We should have some way to distinguish two tuples. Those are stored in my relation, right? So the tuples are having the set of values corresponding to different attributes of that relation, right? So we should come up with some attributes or set of attributes those actually uniquely identify the tuples, right? We should come up with the attribute or set of attributes those actually help us to uniquely identify individual tuples. Those are stored in my relation, right? In other words, we may say that in relational model, in a particular relation, it is not allowed that two tuples in the relation are having exactly same values for all the attributes. So it is not allowed that we are having two tuples, those are exactly the same, right? And that is why we need to have some means to distinguish two tuples from one another. So we should have some attribute or set of attributes. Those will help us to discriminate between two tuples, the data for two tuples, right? So this set of attributes or the attribute is known as the key. So key is nothing but the attribute or the set of attributes that help us to distinguish two tuples from one another. Now, let us assume that this K is the subset of this capital R. So what is K? K is one set. K is set of attributes. And what is R? R is our relational schema. So we know now what is capital R. What is capital R? Capital R is my relation schema. And how to denote this relation schema R? This is set of attributes of that relation R. Okay, so capital R, that is the relation schema, is the set of all the attributes representing that relation schema capital R. And now what we are saying is we are having some subset K of R. So what is K now? K is a subset of R, meaning K is a set of few attributes of R. So K comprises of few of the attributes from my relation schema R. Right? Now, we are talking about the first kind of a key now. Right? And that is a super key. So what is a super key? This set of attributes K, which is subset of my capital R, that is the relation schema. So K is a super key of R if values for K are sufficient to identify a unique tuple of each possible relation R on R. I'll repeat, this is a formal definition for a super key K. So what we mean by a super key? K is a super key of relation schema R if values for K are sufficient to identify a unique tuple of each possible relation R on R. So what we mean by this possible relation R? This possible relation R means a relation that could exist in the enterprise that we are modeling. So whatever may be my relation schema, at several instances of time, I may have several relation instances, small r. So based on this relation schema, capital R, I may have various instances of the relation R on that schema, capital R. So we are talking about all such instances, possible instances of my relation, right? So what is super key? Super key is the attribute or set of attributes, and it is denoted here as K. So we are saying that K is a super key of R if values for K are sufficient to identify a unique tuple of each possible instance of the relation. Right? Let us see one example, what we mean by that. Suppose we are having instructor as our relation. Instructor is our relation. Okay? Now, if I am having instructor as the relation, what are the attributes of my instructor relation? If you remember, we have gone through the entire relational model for our university database. Now, consistently we are going to make use of that relational model. So, you should know now what are the different relations in that relational model and what are the attributes of those relations, because now we are going to refer to all those relations with different context. So here we are referring to our instructor relation. So what are the attributes of my instructor relation? In my instructor relation, I am having the attribute that is ID of the instructor. We are having name of the instructor, right? Then the third attribute in instructor relation that we have is the salary of the instructor, right? And the fourth attribute in our relation instructor is the department name. Is that correct? Yes. Do you remember
Yes,
our relation schema? So,
yes, ma'am.
the attributes of our relation instructor are these four attributes, right? And ID we have denoted in our relation model that ID is the primary key. So we are going to discuss now what are different keys, right? And why we are saying this ID as the primary key. Okay, now in our instructor relation we are having these four attributes. Okay, now if I have a subset, these four attributes denote my relation schema R, capital R. Okay, now if I have a subset of this capital R, and that is say ID and name. So ID and name is one of the subsets of capital R, right? Or this instructor schema. Also, only ID is the subset of instructor schema if I collect these two attributes, name and department name. These two also are describing one subset of my instructor schema, right? Now, I am saying that all these three, ID name, that is a subset, ID is a subset, name department name is also a subset of instructor schema, right? So I am saying that all these subsets form my super keys of schema instructor, right? ID name is the super key, only ID is also a super key, and name department name is also a super key. Whenever I am saying name department name is a super key for the instructor, I am assuming that no two instructors in the same department are having the same name. So every instructor in a particular department is having different name. With this assumption, I am saying that name department name can also be treated as the super key, because all these sets help me to distinguish two tuples. In my instructor table, one tuple corresponds to one instructor, right? So if I consider ID name, this set of attributes, then two tuples can be distinguished with the help of these attributes. Even if I consider only ID, then also it is possible for me to distinguish two instructors, because every instructor is provided with different ID. Okay, if I consider name and department name as the set of attributes, then also it is possible for me to distinguish two instructors in my instructor relation, assuming that no two instructors belonging to the same department are having the same names, right? So this is how, for a particular relation, I may come up with many different super keys. Those help me just to distinguish between two tuples. So super keys are helping me to identify a unique tuple in the relation. Okay? Am I clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
May I
ma'am.
proceed?
Yes.
Yes.
Fine. Now, let us proceed to the concept of candidate key. So, what is candidate key now? This subset of attributes K is a candidate key if K is minimal. So, what we mean by that? Suppose, once again, we are referring to the instructor relation. Now, if we look at the attribute ID, right? ID is a super key, right? ID is a super key, and also no subset of this ID is also the super key. I'll repeat what I mean. ID is a super key and no subset of this ID is also the super key. And that is why I may say that ID is my candidate key for instructor. If I look at this set of attributes ID and name, I will not say that this ID name is my candidate key. And what is the reason why ID name is not the candidate key? Because even though this set of attributes ID name is a super key, there exists a subset of this key which is also a super key. So there exists the subset of this key ID name, and that subset is ID, and ID can also form my super key, right? So I will not say that this set ID name is my candidate key. Are you getting me? Yes? Are you getting me? Or shall I repeat once again?
Ma'am, repeat.
Okay. So, have you understood the concept of super key?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Fine. Now, we are having the super keys identified for the relation. Okay. Now, we are talking about the candidate key. So, out of all those super keys, we are now identifying which is the candidate key. And what we mentioned that candidate key is a minimal super key. Candidate key is a minimal super key. So what we mean by that? Minimal super key. If I am having a super key and if I find any subset of that super key, and if that subset of the super key is also the super key for the relation, then that may not be the candidate key. So if I find a super key for which there do not exist any subset that is also a super key, then we say that it is a minimal super key and that is a candidate key. Once again, I repeat, if we are having a super key for which there is no subset of that super key which is also a super key, then we say that this super key is minimal and that super key can be picked up as my candidate key for the relation. Say for example, if I consider this set ID name which is my super key. Now let us try to find out whether this ID name is the candidate key of my relation instructor. I am saying that this ID name is not the candidate key for my relation instructor. And what is the reason? The reason is I am having the subset of this super key, that is ID. ID is the subset of ID name. Do you agree with me? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
ID is subset of this set ID name. And if I consider that subset ID, ID can also identify or uniquely distinguish between two tuples because ID is also my super key, right? So if I consider this set ID name, right, and if I find this subset ID, then ID is my super key. So subset of my key is also the super key, right? And that is why I may say that this ID name cannot be my candidate key because only ID, which is the subset of this, is sufficient to distinguish two instructors, right? Because this subset ID is also my super key. So now let us talk about this ID. If I consider this super key ID, whether this can be my candidate key? Yes, this can be my candidate key. Why? Because ID is a single attribute here in my set and there is no subset of this set which is also a super key. So I can say that ID can be the candidate key for my instructor relation. Okay, now let us see this name department name set. This is one more super key that we have identified. So what about this set now? Name department name. We stated that no two instructors belonging to the same department are having the same names, right? And that is why we mentioned that name department name is the super key. Now let us try to find out whether this combination name department name can be treated key. Yes. Whether name department name can be treated as my candidate key. If yes, why? See here, if I try to find out the subset, okay, subset of this set, then I may have only name, that is the subset of name department name. Is that correct? Only name is the subset of name department name, which is my super key. Also, I am having another subset and that is department name. Do you agree with me? Yes.
Yes,
So these two are the subsets of my super key name department name. Now, whether these subsets are also the super keys, let us try to find out whether only name is a super key for the instructor. Yes, anybody, please answer. Whether only name can be treated as the super key for the instructor. Whether only name is sufficient to distinguish two tuples, two instructors.
no, ma'am.
No. because it may happen that two instructors from two different departments are having the same name. So it is not possible for me to only use name as the super key for this instructor relation. Similarly, if this subset department name is considered, department name is repeated for various tuples because I may have many instructors belonging to same department name, right? So department name may not be treated as the super key. So in a sense, if I look at this super key name, department name, I am having these two subsets, name and department name, but none of these subsets are the super keys, right? And that is why I need to have this combination name, department name to uniquely identify the tuple in my instructor relation. And that is why I may say that name, department name can also form my candidate key, provided no two instructors belonging to the same department are having same names. Have you understood the concept? Very important concept. Have you understood the concept? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So, for a particular relation, we may have more than one super keys. Also, we may have more than one candidate keys. Right? Every candidate key is a super key. Every candidate key is a super key. Right? And any superset of my super key is also a super key. Any superset of my super key is also a super key. What we mean by that? If ID name is my super key, and if I add one more attribute here, salary, ID name salary, that can also be my super key. Right? If I add department name in this set, ID name, department name, that can also be treated as super key. So whatever may be the subset of attributes belonging to capital R, right, that can distinguish two tuples can be treated as a super key. So if I have identified right now these three super keys, then any superset of this super key is also a super key. So if I add one more attribute here, say salary, so ID name salary can be one more super key. Okay, if I add attribute here, say ID department name, that can also be a super key. ID salary, that can also be a super key. So I am having many such super keys available, right? Also, I may have more than one candidate keys. So please remember, every candidate key is no doubt a super key. Okay, only thing is, given the super keys, we should be able to identify which are the candidate keys. And how to identify the candidate key? Candidate key is a super key for which there is no subset of that super key which also is a super key. If this is the case, then we say that it is a candidate key. Right? We may have more than one candidate keys for a relation, and this is the example. ID can be treated as the candidate key for the instructor. Name, department name can also be treated as the candidate key for the instructor. Right? May I proceed now?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Now, let us talk about the primary key. So, one of the candidate keys can be selected by a database designer and that is treated as the primary key. So, as I mentioned, we may have more than one candidate keys and one of the candidate keys can be selected by the database designer, right? And that key can be designated as primary key. So, primary key should be chosen such that its attribute values are never or very rarely changed. Right? Say for example, if we are having these two candidate keys for instructor now, those we have identified. ID is the candidate key, name, department name can also be the candidate key. Okay? But what we are saying is, one of these candidate keys now need to be selected by the database designer as the primary key for my relation instructor. So, shall I select this ID as the primary key or shall I select this name, department name as the primary key? So, being a database designer, what I will do? I will select a key, a candidate key as the primary key such that it will never change, or even though it changes, it will very rarely change. So obviously, I will pick this ID as the primary key for my instructor relation. I will not select this as the primary key. Instead, I'll select ID as the primary key of instructor. And the reason is, ID is a unique number that is provided for every instructor. So ID will not change. ID for the instructor will never change. Right? But there is a possibility that the instructor may change the department. It may happen sometimes that the instructor is transferred from one department to another department in the university. So there is a possibility that this combination may change. But being ID is the unique number or the identifier provided to every instructor, ID will never change. And that is why we may select this ID as the primary key for instructor relation. Got the concept? Yes? May I proceed? Any doubts so far?
No.
May I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So now let us go to the next concept, and that is determining the keys for different sets. Right? So in fact, we have gone through these concepts, but once again I am revising those. We are having a relation for strong entity set. Right? So the primary key of the entity set becomes the primary key of the relation. Okay? As far as weak entity sets are considered, the primary key of relation consists of the union of the primary key of the strong entity set and the discriminator of the weak entity set. We have gone through these concepts. So, as we have followed this process, that we have come up with ER model first and then we have converted our ER model into the relational schema. So, in fact, we know which is the strong entity set, which is the weak entity set, and which are the associated tables for these respective entity sets. And that is how we may relate these concepts. The primary key of the strong entity set always becomes the primary key of the relation. About weak entity set, the primary key of the relation consists of the union of the primary key of the strong entity set and the discriminator of the weak entity set. Whereas if we talk about a relationship set, then the union of the primary keys of the participating entity sets becomes the super key for the relation, right? And depending on the cardinality of the relation, we may pick the primary key, right? So union of the primary keys of the participating entity sets become the super key of the relation. But now, based on the cardinality of the relation, we may pick the primary key for that relation in my relational model. So, for binary many-to-one relationship sets, the primary key of many entity set becomes the relation's primary key. If my relationship set is many-to-one, then the primary key of many side will be the primary key of the relation. If my relationship set is one-to-one, then obviously the relation's primary key can be any of the primary key of the participating entity sets, because the relationship set is one-to-one. If we are having many-to-many relationship set, then obviously the union of the primary keys of the participating entity sets form the primary key of the respective relation. So these are very important guidelines to determine the primary keys of the relationship sets, or the primary keys of the relations corresponding to the relationship set in my ER model. Okay, now let us proceed to the concept of referential integrity and the foreign keys. So very important concept, please concentrate. Referential integrity and the foreign keys. So apart from the super key, the candidate key and the primary key, we are having now one more kind of a key, and that is known as a foreign key. So what we mean by this foreign key? Many times we are having some relations. Say for example, we are having a relation R1, and this relation R1 includes the primary key of some another relation R2. I'll repeat. We are having one relation R1, and this relation R1 includes the attribute of another relation R2, and this attribute is the primary key of another relation R2. Then this attribute is called as the foreign key from R1, and that is referencing the relation R2. What I mean by that? Let us look at this partial schema of our university database. This is a partial schema of our university database. So only 3 relations are being depicted here. And what are these 3 relations? We are having student relation, we are having instructor relation, and we are having department relation. For this department name is the primary key of this relation, right? Department name is the primary key of the relation, right? We have followed some rules and we have come up with this relational model. Okay, now if we look at this relation student, we are having the attribute department name in this relation student, right? And this department name actually is the primary key of other relation, that is department. So I am having this relation, say R1, wherein I am having one attribute, that is department name, and this attribute department name is borrowed from some other relation, that is department, where this department name is the primary key. So this is my relation R2, from where this attribute is borrowed, and in R2 it is my primary key. So primary key of R2 is used as one of the attributes in relation R1. Similarly, in this instructor relation also, I am borrowing this department name, which is the primary key of other relation, that is department. If this is the case, then department name in student relation or this department name in instructor relation is known as the foreign key. So foreign key is the attribute that is borrowed from some other relation where that attribute is the primary key. Right? So in this scenario, relation R1 is known as the referencing relation and relation R2 is known as referenced relation. So meaning, in this particular example, my student relation is referencing relation, and which relation is referenced? Department. So this department is the referenced relation, or instructor is referencing relation and department is the referenced relation. Department name attribute in student relation is the foreign key. Department name in instructor relation is the foreign key. Okay, and this foreign key is borrowed from the referenced relation where that attribute is the primary key. Right? So this is what the concept of foreign keys. And this concept of foreign keys is really very important to maintain the referential integrity, which is one of the integrity constraints. Right? So foreign keys are actually meant for providing this referential integrity constraint. Right? So what we mean by that? Referential integrity constraint. Yes. Meaning, see for example, if I am inputting some instructor tuple. Say for example, I am inputting the data for one particular instructor. So I am inputting the ID, say 1. I am inputting name of the instructor, say X. Department name of the instructor, say CSE, and some salary. So this is one tuple in my instructor table. So whenever I insert this data, into my instructor table, right, as I am borrowing this department name from this table department, I need to make sure that this CSE department is present in my department relation. Unless and until this department relation contains the tuple for this CSE department, it is not possible for me to input that department name in instructor table or in student table, wherever it has been referenced. So, referential integrity requires that the values appearing in specified attributes of an tuple in referencing relation also appears in specified attributes of at least one tuple in the referenced relation. So this can be demonstrated with this example. If I am having a tuple in instructor table, if I am inserting a tuple in instructor table that includes department name as CSE, being department name as my foreign key, I am referring to this department table for this foreign key. Okay, so if I want to make use of this department name CSE, what I need to have is this CSE value should be present in my department table. Then only it is possible for me to use that in my instructor table. So simply it provides the constraint that unless and until that department exists in my department table, I am not able to use that department anywhere in any of the tables. And this is the constraint, this is the condition that ensures this referential integrity. Right? And that is what the purpose of having these foreign keys. This referential integrity helps to maintain the consistency in the data. So it should not happen that we are not having one department and in other table we are making use of that department name. It should never happen. So if I want to make use of any kind of foreign key, that value must exist in the respective referenced relation. So any foreign key value that I am going to make use of, that value must exist in the corresponding referenced relation. Then and then only it is possible that we can use that value as the foreign key in any other relation. Got the concept? Yes? Is there any doubt?
No.
Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
So this is really very important concept. So today we have covered all different kinds of keys, those we may have in relational model, right? And I would suggest you to once again go through these concepts because consistently we are going to make use of these concepts in our further discussion, right? So referential integrity and foreign keys, one of the most important concepts. So please once again go through all those concepts. What is candidate key, what is super key, what is primary key, and what is foreign key. Okay, so I hope you must have understood the concepts. I'll appeal all of you to once again go through all those concepts. Okay, so let's stop today. Tomorrow we are going to focus upon the query languages and we are going to begin our discussion with the relational algebra, and we are going to write the queries in relational algebra, right? So in the next session we are going to discuss the query languages. Okay, so let's stop today.